But first, how the Muslim community in Orlando is responding to the mass shooting. As investigators continue to try to understand the motives of the Orlando shooter, the fact that he was a Muslim has put another community of American Muslims in an uncomfortable spot, disavowing the actions of an extremist while also facing a backlash themselves. William Brangham has the story.
As news broke early Sunday about the killings in Orlando, Joshua Weil thought what many Muslims thought about the attacker.
My first thought is always and sadly, please don't let him be Muslim.
Weil is a member of the Islamic Center of Orlando, one of the largest Muslim mosques in this area. Of course, news quickly broke that the killer, Omar Mateen, was in fact a Muslim. The attacks occurred right after Saturday night's Ramadan prayers.
The thought occurred to me, that if this guy was Muslim, he probably just left one of these mosques. He might have even left this mosque. He might have been standing and praying Taraweeh, standing side by side with his brothers and listening to the Quran. And then he left that to go murder all these people.
Tariq Rashid is the imam of this mosque.
Every Muslim in this country and in Orlando is grieved, and they are in a shock. They are asking questions: how come this happened here in Orlando? How can a person with Muslim faith can do this? So people are very much in a shock, I can tell you, or everyone. And then there is a fear factor as well, that there might be a backlash.
The mosque held a candlelight vigil for the shooting victims the night after the killings, and they've publicly and repeatedly condemned the attack, saying Mateen's actions are no reflection of their religion.
Both Adam and his wife, Hawwa.
Imam Rashid says this is the new reality for the American Muslim community, having to account for the violent actions of a few extremists who claim to share their faith.
We have nothing to do with this. I mean, we don't know who this guy was. Where is it coming from? Because terrorism has no religion, and in religion there is no terrorism.
This is what happened in San Bernardino and what happened at the military base in Texas, where one of these events occur and then the Muslim community is called to condemn.
True.
Right. Are you guys sick of being asked to condemn this?
Absolutely, sick is the right word. We are sick of this.
Syed Qadri and his wife Rabana Khan and their 3 kids are members of this mosque. Syed's a psychiatrist, and Rabana is an accountant who helps manage his practice.
I actually was terrified and finding out what exactly happened. And of course, our heart goes out to all the mothers and fathers who have lost their kids. It's unfortunate, and it's terrible that these kind of incidents are continuing to happen. And it's putting a bad name on the Muslim community.
Many people believe there is something about Islam that draws a paranoid, radicalized thinking. What do you say to people who think that is part and parcel of your faith?
Well, I'm not going to deny that. There is radicalism in every religion, I think, Islam gets attention because of everything that's going around in the world. And I am not going to say these people are not radical Islamists. Definitely they are, but they are not a part of Islam. We do not consider them Muslims. We do not consider them a part of Islam. Islam is all about peace, nothing to do with hatred or violence.
But these repeated disavowals haven't stopped the threats. The mosque's Facebook page, beneath its tributes to the victims, has been repeatedly covered with death threats and angry denunciations of Islam. The mosque says they've received similar voicemail messages. Joshua Weil says most of these are likely just angry venting after the attacks, but some of them were simply too specific to ignore.
He sees us parasites at the Publix at Hiawassee all the time.
The grocery store?
Yep, the grocery store in Hiawassee all the time. And that the next time he sees one of us, he's going to take care of it. And that was the one that got us most. We contacted the police with that one.
The mosque alerted the police, but now they've also hired an armed guard to patrol the grounds during prayer services.
Pick good things from different people.
Imam Rashid says Ramadan is usually the busiest time at the mosque, but now people are afraid to come.
Sisters in the community, they texted me that, I'm not coming today. We are fearful, we don't want to come. And they didn't send their children. We have never done this. We have never done this and this mosque has been in operation for the last 32 years.
Do you want some more macaroni and cheese?
Weil says that he and his wife Anna, who's also Muslim, don't want to give in to fear, but he understands it. Weil is a teacher by day and also works as an outreach director for the mosque. He says especially at times like this, people need to worship together, not apart. But Anna said she thinks the anger out there is serious enough to stay away from the mosque for now.
We have not gone to the mosque for dinner, for prayers or anything since the shooting happened.
You and the kids?
Yeah.
Weil says these attacks have also shined a light on a generational divide within the Muslim community over the issue of homosexuality. He says most of the younger American-born Muslims here have condemned the attacks and embraced the gay community that's been victimized by this killer. But he says some of the older generation, those largely born abroad in much more conservative societies, have struggled with how to respond.
They want to condemn this. They do believe it's horrible, and they do think that it never should have happened. But they don't want to go as far as to, kind of embrace or say that they support homosexuality, and they kind of feel at this awkward place. It's almost been nice to see some of them reluctantly move in and say, no, we see now this is a community that we should be supporting. This is a community that faces all of the same bigotry and all of the same, anger and aggression from many of the same people that we do.
The reverberations from this attack have also spilled onto the campaign trail. Citing Orlando, Donald Trump doubled down on his call to ban Muslim immigration, although the shooter was born in New York City. President Obama and some GOP leaders have again condemned that proposal.
What is your response when you hear some of the political rhetoric that flows after attacks like this?
It is unfortunate that some people take advantage of these kind of incidents and, they are banking on their votes. They're trying to build their political careers out of all this. That's all I can say.
I consider myself an American and an American Muslim.
Absolutely.
So, and it hurts that if somebody would try to take that away from me, because this is my country. This is where I grew up. So when you tell me to leave, where am I supposed to go? You give me an answer.
That's right.
This is my home.
The Muslim community here hopes the anger directed at them will soon subside, and that the whole Orlando community can continue its slow process of healing from this tragedy. For the PBS NewsHour, I'm William Brangham in Orlando, Florida.